Alright, here we are at Kingdon Sheet Metal, local place here in downtown Salt Lake City. Really nice people that go through and get all the metal I'm using for my project. Over here, here's Dave, nice gentleman. House keeps running smooth. Really nice guys. Not a huge shop, but man, these guys are just nice and great. And this is the thing, I came in and get some 16 gauge stainless steel, and they have this giant ass machine here. It's just a giant shear. Obviously you can go through and take huge sheets of metal. You'll notice down the side here, it got these like pneumatic presses. They turn it on, it'll clamp down on the metal, push it through, and then there is just these blades that go through in there and just chop, chop, chop. All right, big thanks to Dave over at Kingdon Sheet Metal here in Salt Lake City. Great guys I found, local metal shop. Yeah, anyway, that's where I got all my metal ball guides. That's what we're gonna be talking about today. If you remember on the last video, we had the prototype, playfield prototyping, where we talked about the cardboard and made all these shots with the cardboard, and got comments, people like, wow, I'm kind of surprised you can actually make those shots with the cardboard. You can, they don't last forever. They start to break down. That's why we got to move on to metal ball guides. All right, so this, you remember from that last shot of that giant shear, was clipping out, cutting off these 1-inch strips of 16 gauge stainless steel. I got 24 out of these, 24 of these out of a sheet of 24 by 48. Cost just over $100. So yeah, so I've already gone through and made a handful of these. Okay, and the way I went through and did it, so like this piece here, was I went through and I took this piece of cardboard. So all right, here's a shot I need. Okay, and I pulled it off, and then I just took it and I stretched it out flat, and I measured. I said, okay, how long is this? This is just over 12 inches. We're going to say 12 and a half inches. Okay, 12 and a half inches long. So then I grabbed this, I measured out 12 and a half inches, and then I cut it. And I cut it with these metal snips, these shears that I got off Amazon, Midwest. I saw a lot of really good reviews about these. People seem to be liking them. I'm not a big guy, as you can tell. Let me show you, this is not the easiest stuff in the world to cut. I've got a spare piece here. I mean, you don't just grab this and go, snip. I mean, this is metal we're talking about. So, yeah, these snips are not the easiest thing in the world. This metal is not the easiest thing in the world to cut. I would come through here, show you where you can see it. And I mean, I don't know. I'm going to try to two-hand it. Nope. The only thing I could do was to get down here on the table with all my weight, and then halfway through, I don't know about you, I don't want to be doing that every time I try to go through and cut a piece of metal. It's going to be horribly inaccurate. It's bending the ends. I'm having to like go through and like hammer them back out. Not liking that option. Well, so what other options are there, Steve? Glad you asked. So I went online and looked around, tried to see what I could find. Found this bad boy. Haven't used it yet. We're going to try it now for the first time. I hope it works really good, because it was like 120 bucks, 140 bucks for this one specialty tool, so it better work. I have my doubts. I don't know. I think it could work. I mean, it's got this nice lever action here, right? But, oh wait, it's got to be anchored. And then, you know, you just put the metal in here. Should be good. And we've even got a nice long handle we can extend for more leverage if we need to. But But yeah, so we got to mount that on something. Don't want to mount it straight onto my workbench. So maybe this piece of particle board. I wonder how much that can take. Let's find out. So I really wish that these were like countersunk in, because now they're just gonna scratch. There's still gonna be a little bit of play. That's better. Got a little bit of paneling. All right, moment of truth. Better. It's a pretty good edge. It's got a little bit of bend at the very last part where it cuts, but we can bang that out. Yeah, that works pretty good. Fairly straight edge, right? I think so. Fairly clean. All right. So now we got a good cutter, so we can cut our length. The other thing you're seeing here that I'm doing is we got to get bends, right? That was another tricky thing. How do we get bends? I mean, this is pretty flimsy. You can just start bending it, right? But how do you get a good bend? Get a bend that, you know, matches like our cardboard. So how do we get a good bend like this? Well, again, I go through and I measure, okay? And at the widest part of that, I know how big of a bend that is. So I can say this is right about a 3-inch bend. Okay? So you can either find something round that's 3 inches round, which can be hard to do. You can just start, you know, working it over an edge of your workbench. And that can be hard. Again, it can be very imprecise. It's like, okay, there's a bend, but it's kind of square. So then you gotta get back into that. Some people are way better at this than I am, but I struggle. I mean, I did it through these methods, and I got some decent bends. You know, I was able to get some decent bends, but tool number 2. This bends metal. Now supposedly what you do is, and again this might need to get anchored, okay? This changes the angle of your bend. At the very lowest, piece of metal is very straight, right? And then we start to bring it up. Okay? And this will already start to bend it a little bit. And then you can bring your metal through. Okay? And it will roll it for you and give you the bend you want. Now this is a crappy piece of metal now I've ruined. But let's say we had this brand new one. Now this works really well. The thing I don't like about it is like how many screws until I get to a 3-inch bend. Like I'm not even sure. But it's like perfectly the size for the width of metal we're doing. And it will handle a little bit bigger pieces. This is pretty much what it's meant for. So this is good. But again, it's like, you know, am I really getting the bend I want through that? So even this, this is my second time using it. Still trying to figure out. And again, I need this pretty much anchored. Yeah, maybe I'm not using this right. I don't know. Let's try something here. It's kind of doing it. I don't feel like it's really gripping. I'm having to really push it through. It does give you a much better bend though. I don't know. So this is working, but I definitely need to figure out a good way to anchor this. And I don't know. I'm definitely having to kind of like feed the metal through as I turn, which I guess isn't too bad. It says it'll do a turn up to as tight as 1.5 inches, I think, which is basically like just over the width of this metal, you know, which is good, but I don't know. Haven't made up my mind about it. So yeah. I probably just need more practice with it. Maybe watch some videos and see if there's a better way. So, what do we have figured out though? All right, here's the pieces I have already. It's all the core pieces that we need. Now hopefully, you're looking at this and saying, what's all these gray things you have on your metal, Steve? Oh, glad you asked. This is something else that I 3D printed. Okay, not my original idea. Got it from the Slack community I'm part of for the fast hardware pinball controllers. I was going to give credit, but now I've totally forgotten who it was that came up with this originally. Shoot, I'll look it up and I'll add it in here afterwards in the video. But anyway, thank you. It's a simple little, kind of like a C clamp type idea almost, right? There's these grooves, the metal slides through. It's got a little bit of stabilizer, and then there's just a screw hole in the bottom. Yeah, we slide. This just slides on like so. Okay, you can put them where you want, and then we can use that to anchor it onto the playfield. Not a permanent solution. Again, for the final version, we'll have rivets, and we'll have riveted posts that will hold it in the playfield. But yeah, for now, these are doing a great job to hold everything in place. So, first thing we need, well, let's just start putting stuff together. Basically, on these supports here, I basically have that same thing, kind of the C clamp here, modeled into the side of it on both sides, so I can take my horseshoe. There we go. Now, as you can see, that's going to be a little short. Yeah, it might be all right of what I'm going to need, but that gets us pretty close. Okay, and then inside here is where this gap's going to be for those optical switches. And these just get screwed in with the same little number 8 flat hex screws. Is this focusing? 5/8. Use your 1/4 inch driver. Okay. And then we got to do the outside of the horseshoe. The diverter piece. All right, got that a little tighter than what it needs to be. We'll figure that out. Coming together. This outer loop I'm doing here, it's too short. My 48 inches wasn't long enough. You can see it's not going to come down at all far enough for where it needs to. So I will have to head back, see my pals at Kingdon Metal again, and get a longer piece cut. So, but for now, this will work. Okay, those are the pieces I have right now. A couple of these gaps here, you might be wondering, I want a stand-up target right about here. Now for the optical switches, 2 of these. All right, guys, that's some of our initial basic shots, kind of those core shots. This diverter will be attached to a coil that'll pull it down below the play field. So when the ball comes through, it'll come over here. So I still need to get a guide to trap in over here on this side. Yeah, and obviously we've got a little bit more to do around here with like our ramps and stuff, but pretty good progress, I think, for today. Let's go see how it shoots a little bit. Seven.